Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Prior to the Snap. This should be a very interesting episode because we have Jay out in the field.
It's very loud here. I hate to interrupt. How we doing?
He's live. What do you got? Everything you got.
It's very loud here.
Oh yeah, I officially bought a new one.
Everything you got, Jay. Let's get it out.
I've given up on that.
I'm gonna. If you don't see my face, it means I'm bringing my ear down to the speaker.
I realize that. Dude, just do everything you got right now.
It's always like you have mine.
Everything I have right now.
Yeah!
How we doing?
Oh yeah!
Woo! We gotta get in here.
It's getting weird here at Lambeau. Oh yeah!
Thanks, guys.
I
love it.
You guys love the costumes.
Yeah. All right, so again, we're live. Again, I'm sorry to take this over, but this is Macho Packness. I have my partner in crime, Packer Mania.
Oh, you know it, brother.
Oh yeah, and we are live here outside of Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin, home of your 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers. And I think, Packer Mania, do you have a message for Sports Talk? Do you have a message for the Detroit Lions?
Well, let me tell you something, Detroit Lions. You better eat your cheese and pray to Lombardi, brother. Because what you gonna do? What you gonna do when the power of Packer Mania runs wild on you, brothers?
Oh yeah! Back to you, Justin.
All right, so that's Jay over in Wisconsin.
What the fuck do you have on? You can't marry this asshole. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse on the webcast.
All right, so the alcohol is definitely flowing in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm speed. I can't follow that up.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's not flowing.
It's entering. It's not flowing.
All right, so I don't think Jay has any fantasy news for you today. But Macho Packness is alive and well. I'm going to hop into an actual game here. Jesus. The Cardinals are playing the Bills today, everybody. Injury news. Kareem Martin's doubtful. Frosty Rucker's doubtful. Evan Mathis is out. On the Bills side, Colt Anderson's out. Cody Glenn is out. And Sammy Watkins, surprise, surprise, not playing today. Probably the softest receiver in the NFL right now, in my opinion. But maybe I'm a little biased because I hate the Bills.
Rest in peace, Jeff.
Yeah, Gracie would be furious.
I'm here. If you have, just wait till my ear is closer and I'll answer questions. Oh yeah.
Got it, Jay. All right. Anyway, what to watch for in this Cardinals Bills game? The offensive coordinator for the Bills was fired, and he fires them a week before facing a very tough defense. And it seemed to be his defense that was the problem, not the offense. So there's a few things to watch in this game. I see the Cardinals winning, I want to say easily, but at the same time, whenever you expect that a Rex Ryan team's going to get crushed, they pull off some miracle bullshit and win the game by fumble recovery touchdown or something bizarre every time you roll them out. Larry Fitzgerald was on the injury report this week, but he was a full participant in practice all week. He'll be playing. Key matchup for me is these Arizona Cardinals wide receivers versus the Bills secondary is what I'm keeping my eye on. John, I'm going to let you do your first game. Go ahead.
All right. First game I'm going to do is Denver-Cincinnati. Denver comes in 2-0. Cincinnati 1-1 after losing to Pittsburgh last week. Demaryius Thomas is going to play. DeMarcus Ware is out, though. And on Cincy, Tyler Eifert is doubtful. So still a game-time decision. I just checked up on it. I'd seen reports he's leaning to play, but also reports he's not going to. My biggest key to watch this game is Trevor Siemian. He's got 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions in 2 games. He's going to go against the Bengals. The Bengals held, Steelers offense. Yeah, I mean, they scored some points, but at the same time, they didn't let him run wild. Yeah, D'Angelo Williams went crazy, but Roethlisberger didn't throw too much to Antonio Brown. There wasn't a lot of passing in there. And for the Cincy, the key I want to see is Hill and Gio Bernard. Are they going to actually perform? Between the two, they have 1 touchdown. Last year, they were two-headed monster. Each, I think each had over 800 yards or something like that last year, and this year neither of them even have like 80 yards. So Cincy needs to get them going. They need to get AJ Green out there, and it's in Cincinnati, so Denver coming out to Cincinnati to play. It's going to be different, but I think the main key is to see if Simeon can actually perform and actually throw a second touchdown. Not actually perform and be the quarterback that Denver wants him to be.
And talking about that, John, I really thought last week was going to be the week that Trevor Siemian could come out and just go off. The Colts have nobody healthy.
I agree with that.
They have nobody healthy in their secondary, and he couldn't do it. So I was a little surprised by that.
And the fact that Denver's still sticking with him, I mean, it shows that they believe in him, but at the same time, it's like, how long before you pull the string and throw Sanchez out there, throw Paxton Lynch out there, who still we haven't seen since preseason. It's like you drafted him in the first round. You got to use him if you want him.
All right, I'm gonna hop into the Vikings versus the Panthers game. This game, I'll get into the injuries first. Sharif Floyd is out. Adrian Peterson obviously out. On the Panther side of it, Jonathan Stewart is out. It looks like Fozzie Whitaker will get the start. This game could get ugly before it starts with everything going on in Charlotte. There's heightened security all around. They're planning to block getting into the game. It's a very interesting situation down there. If the game actually does play out, I'm really looking to see how this Minnesota defense matches up against this Panthers offense that, really put a beating on the 49ers last week. We'll see if they can do that without Jonathan Stewart out there against a much, much tougher defense. We'll see what Stephon Diggs can do. He had a huge game against Macho Packness's Packers. And we'll see if he can do that 2 weeks in a row. It looks like he has a good rapport with Sam Bradford. So I'm keeping my eye on that. Can they continue to build on that? And how do Jerick McKinnon and Matt Asiata play? How do they fill in? And, will Bradford get other receivers involved? Will we see a reemergence of Charles Johnson? Will Laquan Treadwell get back into it? We'll have to wait and see.
All right, my next game, I got Browns and Dolphins. This game, someone has to win, unfortunately. I mean,
not necessarily.
This is true. It could be a tie. It could be the first tie of the season. And the way it's looking, it could very well 0-0. It could be 3-3. Who knows? Arian Foster is not playing for the Dolphins. So I just read earlier that it's not a J.A. or Jai, however you say his name, not starting. They're going to use Drake.
Right. Yep.
Start, but, fill in, obviously, the other running backs. And that's going to be interesting to see because, everyone was high. I mean, Kenyon Drake, no one really – I didn't know who he was. I picked up J.A. on my teams, hoping that, I knew Foster was going to get hurt. I mean, that's what he always does. But now he's not even starting, and they're to start this rookie. So it's going to be definitely something to keep an eye on. As for the Browns – Cody Kessler is going to start because McCown's out. So therefore, he becomes the 26th Cleveland Browns starter since 1999, which is mind-blowing. And it's the 5th quarterback they've used in 5 games, which is just as worse. And Joe Hayden is also questionable, too. So rumors are he's probably not going to play. So that could open up the Dolphins' passing game if Tannehill can actually hit a receiver in the hands. And of course, Corey Coleman's out for at least a couple more weeks, so he's not going to play. So it's going to rely on Josh Gordon and also the reemergence of I just forgot his name, the Browns running back Crowell. See if he keeps up his game that he had against the Ravens last week with the 75-yard touchdown and all that. But I mean, it's the Browns and the Dolphins. Someone's got to win. Someone might lose, or they just both might lose.
The fans are going to lose. That's who's going to lose.
I feel sorry for the fans in Miami and Cleveland that have to be stuck with that game.
Shout out the Scoots. Scoot's going to the game today. You
I think
mentioned
Guy is as well.
yes. Actually, I saw he was getting his Jason Taylor jersey dry cleaned and ready to go. You mentioned Crowell's big long touchdown run against the Ravens last week. I'm actually going to hop into their game next. The Ravens started out real slow against Cleveland, and they're facing a team that I think they're playing the Jaguars. I think it's not going to work out as well for them if they let that happen again today.
Yeah.
If Jacksonville's offense finds the rhythm that they definitely didn't find last week, if they find their rhythm, they can continue firing on all cylinders all game. So we got to see what happens early in that game. I'm very much looking at how Allen Robinson bounces back. He had a bad game last week. Kelvin Beacham's out on their offensive line, so that hurts them. They have a third-string tight end that's out. Shouldn't really be too much of an impact. The Ravens, again, are mostly healthy, so that's huge for them. Injuries were a huge part of their record last year.
Yep.
So they're 2-0, and they're playing an 0-2 Jaguars team that's really looking to bounce back from a letdown against Green Bay in Week 1, and then just a poor showing against San Diego last week. So they're looking to bounce back. They're hungry. They're very young. We're going to learn a lot about Gus Bradley today, in my opinion.
Well, and everyone in the offseason was hyping up Jaguars with all their acquisitions, all their draftees. Like, oh, this is it's all the talent on the paper, but they're 0-2. It hasn't panned out yet. I mean, are they going to reach that expectation? Are they going to actually show that they're the team that everybody hyped them up to be, that people were saying they're going to win the South? I mean, it's not a huge leap, but there's that step. I did read earlier, Prince Mukamara is out as of this morning for the Jaguars, and Chris Ivory is going to start for his first appearance in a Jaguar uniform. My next game I got is San Diego and Indianapolis. San Diego with the win last week. That was who they play last week? Was it
Jaguars?
Oh, that's right, the Jaguars. Okay, good transition there. But they put 38 points on them, which was crazy. And the Colts come in 0-2, no defense. They've let up 39 points to Detroit and 34 to Denver. Dante Moncrief is out. T.Y. Hilton is questionable, but he will play because they rested him and they wanted him to be healthy. And Vontae Davis will play for the Colts. And for San Diego, Antonio Gates is doubtful. I read he's not going to play, and Joey Bosa is still out. So he still has not shown up in San Diego, and that's upsetting to me because I like him. My key for the Chargers is, do they keep the momentum they had from last week? They scored pretty much 38 straight points on the Jaguars, and it wasn't really – I mean, Phillip Rivers, he's always been up and down. He's never stayed consistent. He's always been throws for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, and then 200 yards and 3 interceptions the next game. Can the Chargers, I mean, the Colts are reeling right now. Like, Luck's hurt. Everyone's hurt. Everyone's just banged up. Defense, can the Chargers take advantage of that, banged up team and, go to 2-1, get that, bonus win? It's if they lose, it hurts them really bad. If they win, good. They keep the momentum and go on to the next game. And for the Colts, will someone show up on defense? Will someone make a play? Will someone make a stop? Someone make a play that just maybe lights something, makes a spark, makes them actually perform. And, if they go to 0-3, then that puts them really behind in the division already, and it's week 3.
Right, we definitely have a team that's underachieving and a team that's overachieving. If anybody told me last week that the Chargers were going to lose Danny Woodhead that early in the game and already having Keenan Allen out, that they were going to put up 38 points, I wouldn't sell. Like, there's no way I would believe that.
I would have asked who would score, who would get in the end zone, but they found a way.
Travis Benjamin, we'll see if he has another big game today. And the other guy that I'm looking at is Tyrell Williams. Had himself a pretty good game last week, so we'll see if he continues to show up. But looks like they're not missing the beat on offense. Melvin Gordon has had a resurgence, and it's actually kind of amazing to watch. But definitely an interesting game to watch.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hop into the Redskins at the New York Giants. Not much of an injury report for this one. Kendall Reyes is out for the Redskins. For the Giants, have Marshall Newhouse is out, Robert Thomas is out, and Darian Thompson is out, but not really any big name players. This in this model division, this is a very big game for the Redskins. Obviously, starting out not so well, and the Giants are starting out hot. So we got the 2-0 Giants. Kirk Cousins hasn't looked like the Kirk Cousins that kind of took over for the team last year. So I'm very much wondering how their defense is going to hold up, though. More so than I'm worried about Cousins. I'm worried about their defense. Sterling Shepard, Victor Cruz, Odell Beckham is a crazy combination so far this year. And it's, they're using them. Eli's distributing the ball well. And, Eli he looks very good this year. And, not many people are talking about him. And that's kind of the Giants thing. Anytime they won the Super Bowl, they were the underdogs all year. So if it was up to them, I think they'd like to continue to fly under the radar like they have been. I got for that.
All right, I'll go. I'll jump into the 49ers Seahawks. Let's see. 49ers doesn't seem like there's any really big injuries there. So Seahawks, Thomas Rawls is doubtful. Lockett's questionable, but I think he's going to play. Rawls being doubtful, that's probably means he's not going to play. But I mean, it's the Seahawks. They have scored one offensive touchdown this year. San Francisco, I mean, they played really well, but they played the Rams last week. And, if this is a game where, again, someone has to win, but at the same time, it's two teams kind of trending different ways. Seahawks, oh man, they're run all over the field, pass, run, do everything. And then San Francisco, the starting Gabbert, he's got 3 touchdowns on the year. Carlos Hyde is actually showing decently. It's going to be a game. It's in Seattle. So can Seattle step up and actually score points, have an offense? And their defense is playing good. Their defense is playing really good, but San Francisco, they don't really have a passing game. You got to stop Hyde and the little option they have with Blaine Gabbert because he's got a touchdown this year. And will Russell Wilson, throw his second touchdown, get a second offensive touchdown? Will Doug Baldwin actually get going? Will Tyler Lockett get going? It's a game to watch, but at the same time, it's also could be a game that it could just be really bad. I mean, I would want to watch this game if it wasn't on at 4:00 and my Steelers weren't playing, but I don't know. This game, it has all the potential to be good and all the potential to be really bad.
All right. And going on from that, we have the Oakland Raiders playing the Tennessee Titans. The Titans pulled one out last week. It was pretty impressive. The Raiders dropped one last week, and the Raiders defense just looks bad. They made a few acquisitions this offseason. They had David Amerson was playing really well, so they brought him back in, extended him. They brought in Sean Smith, who's a bigger guy. He has trouble with the speedy guys. So we'll see how he does today. I think this is the best matchup he's had all year. We'll see if he can rebound. They brought Reggie Nelson on the back end, and it's not showing up at all on the field. These guys that they brought in. So we'll see if they can bounce back against a Titans offense. It's not exactly overwhelming. They definitely have some playmakers. Don't get me wrong. Mariota with a scrambling quarterback, you always have to watch out. Delaney Walker can kind of take a game over from the tight end position, and that's not something many people can do. Outside of that, you have DeMarco Murray, and we'll see if Derrick Henry gets more involved this week. I have a feeling he does. I think Derrick Henry will get much more involved this week against this very bad Raiders defense.
All right, Rams and Bucks in Tampa Bay. This this matchup is kind of intriguing to me. Rams, no really big injuries there. Just minor questions, no real biggies. Tampa though, Martin's out, Cecil Short's out. It's Doug Martin. People were high on him this year. He only had 85 yards in the game action he saw. Now he's out for what, at least a couple months. I think a month or two, isn't he?
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly.
It's I want to say I saw 4 weeks.
Okay, so at least a month. Then the Rams, I mean, Case Keenum's going to play. No touchdowns thrown, no rushing touchdowns yet for the Rams, but they're 1-1, and everyone in their division is 1-1. So this could be a good chance. And with Seattle playing San Francisco, one of them's going to win. LA could get to 2-1 if they win this game and still be, tied for first in their division. Gurley, everyone was super high on him. He hasn't even broken 100 yards in 2 games this year. Will he find the end zone? Will he break a rush out? He's averaging 2.7 yards a carry right now. That's not him last year. People are rating him as the number 1 running back into this year, and he is not definitely showing it. The Bucks looked pretty good. Now with Doug Martin out, though, teams they're probably going to play the pass because they have Charles Sims is going to be their backup running back who's going to start, and teams don't know anything about him, but at the same time, he's not Doug Martin. He's not the big pounder muscle back. He's not the muscle hamster. He's not going to be able to pound the ball in. So Rams are probably going to play nickel and dime all the time and just defend the pass. Can the Bucks open it up, run the ball, find the end zone, at least give the Rams something to look forward to? But I don't know, this game, scoring game, just because the defenses aren't great there, but at the same time, the offenses do have the potential. But then again, it could very well be a 10-7 game or even a 9-7 game or something. But I don't know. I'd see the Tampa Bay winning this game. It's at home. Rams. The Rams are just not very good, but they have the potential there again.
All right, I'm going to hop into the New York Jets at the Kansas City Chiefs. Jamal Charles, is he playing? No, not this week. But the thing with the Chiefs is, as much as it hurts your fantasy team that Jamal Charles isn't playing, it doesn't seem to hurt the Chiefs that much. Spencer Ware fills in admirably. Charkandrick West is also a great fill-in, so they don't seem to miss him too much. It's more a matter of if they can get their passing game going. And believe it or not, against the Jets, Darrelle Revis, it looks like he's lost step a little bit. So if you can get a burner on him, you can beat him deep. So that's what I'm watching out for. Macklin's not the fastest guy in the world, but I think he's got enough speed that if Revis did lose a step, if it's not, just a nagging injury or whatever it may be, I think Macklin can give him a long day. Matt Forte last week, how about him, dude? 100 yards, 3 touchdowns.
The resurgence of Matt Forte, that's crazy.
Yeah, old man Forte. There's a lot of older running backs playing very well. I know in your next game you'll be getting into one as well, but in this game I don't expect a lot of points. Todd Bowles has a great defense always. The Chiefs have a great defense, so we'll see how this ends up on the scoreboard. I'm expecting it to be low scoring, and I'm not really sure who I give the edge to. Maybe the Jets, just because Eric Decker looks like he's primed for a huge year. Last year he quietly had a very good season. A lot of people were down on him. It looks like he's bounced back, and he's showing up big time in the box score every week. And they also had this new guy. I'm going to butcher his first name, probably his last name too. Anachi, Enunwa. Enunwa, the new guy. He looks like a player, man. So it's another New York team with 3 big time targets.
Yeah, I mean Marshall, Decker, and Enunwa. Marshall and Decker, those are big names, but it's who's that guy? He's targeted the most by Fitzpatrick, so there's something there. And my game of the week, Steelers Eagles. The Battle of Pennsylvania, 2-0 versus 2-0. Really no injuries here. Only big name, Zach Ertz is out. Marcus Wheaton will play, but he will see limited time split between Hayward Bay, Sammy Coates, and him all line up against offsetting Brown. Steelers defense, Senequaz Golson's out. He doesn't play anyway, so it doesn't matter. This game is going to be crazy. Like, the hype is already real, and it's still game so far away. Will the Steelers offense keep it up? Will DeAngelo Williams be the number one rusher he still is at 36, however old he is? He's ageless right now. He had a great season last year, splitting time with Le'Veon Bell and then playing when he was out. And now he's proven that he still has it. He still runs. He's got 240 yards already almost in 2 games.
Yeah.
I
believe he's 34.
Is he 34? Okay.
I believe he's 34.
34 seems a lot more realistic than 36. Will Carson Wentz show up? He showed up, obviously, but this is the first time he'll be facing a defense. Yeah, they played the Browns, they played the Bears, and yeah, it's the Browns and Bears, but the Steelers defense, our secondary hasn't been good for the last 5 seasons, but the pressure he'll get is something he hasn't seen yet. He's going to see Harrison in the backfield. He's going to see it's just going to be there's going to be people in the backfield the entire time. Because Pittsburgh's going to just send 8 people every town, and it'll force him to throw it. And then another key is Jordan Matthews against William Gay. That's going to be Jordan Matthews is going to dominate William Gay. Years he's been really hit or miss. He has his games, he has his bad games, but he stepped up. That's why he's the number one ever since Ike Taylor retired. But will he be able to handle Jordan Matthews? Because Jordan Matthews seems like Eagles' definite number one. He's the only one over 100 yards, averaging 14 yards a catch. He's got 13 catches for a touchdown. So him and Wentz obviously have something there, and they'll probably try and single him out. But Gay needs help over the top because some streaks, and Wentz does have an arm, and if he finds them on 1 or 2 of them, it's going to be bad for the Steelers. So they need to give Gay some help, or at least just give some pressure to Wentz to force him to check down, or at least just get pressure, hit him. If you hit him, he's going to be able to he's got to look faster. He's okay, well, he's not open, so I just need to get rid of it before I get drilled. So it's going to be this game. I'm hopeful, but at the same time, I could see the Eagles winning, but it's 70-30 for me. I'm obviously pulling for the Steelers because but at the same time, I could see the Eagles winning. And if the Eagles win, it's going to be a close game. If the Steelers win, it's going to be at least a 10-point difference.
I can totally see that. One player on the Eagles side of the ball that I think everyone should be watching out for today, filling in for Zach Ertz, Trey Burton has shown a lot of promise in the preseason, and he's perfectly capable. He had I think it was last week. He had the touchdown, against Chicago. But I'm looking at him. I'm looking his way to see how he plays. I'm not sure how Pittsburgh typically does with tight ends, but that's somebody I have my eye on.
Your Gronkowski's a different thing, but Pittsburgh always has trouble against the tight ends because our linebackers they're not pass coverage linebackers. They're more of the rush, kind of zone ones. But yeah, Pittsburgh has never done, even historically, even against tight ends. Tight ends have always been good against Pittsburgh, and if they're smart, Wentz should just should almost be his first option. Okay, yeah. You're starting to get pressure. Boom, find Burton, and that's probably an easy way to burn the Steelers. Just get those 8-10 yards every play.
All right, I'm going to hop into the Chicago Bears at the Dallas Cowboys. This injury list is 3 pages long on NFL.com. It's Kadeem Carey, doubtful, Jay Cutler not playing, Lamar Houston not playing, Eddie Goldman not playing, Danny Trevathan not playing on the Bears side of the ball. Dallas, obviously Tony Romo's not playing. Charles Tapper and Mark, I can't pronounce his last name.
Zioka.
Yeah, Zioka, something like that. I don't see this being a very high-scoring game. If It sucks. It's a Sunday night game, in my opinion. But it's America's team, quote unquote, and Dak Prescott has a lot of fans. A lot of people like Dak Prescott. They want to see him do well. And honestly, like, I'm not a Cowboys fan by any stretch, but I like Dak Prescott. I want to see if he can, maybe have a little bit of a coming out party. Carson Wentz obviously did well for himself against the Bears. So we'll see if Dak Prescott can come in and do the same thing. Ezekiel Elliott, he's been having some ball security problems, which is surprising. He never had issues with it in college. He would actually, it was talked about how well he holds on the ball, how little he fumbles, but he had a few problems last week. We'll see if that's something that continues to be a problem for him, if it was just a one-off thing. So we'll see that. I know if Peanut Tillman was still on the Bears, I'd be a little more concerned about it because he's infamous for his ability to strip the ball. But
yeah, he made the best running backs fumble. He knocked it out. He had a way about that. It's just crazy how he did it.
He turned it into an art form. But we'll see if his teammates were paying attention, and if they capitalize on Zeke's recent struggles. This game, I see Dallas winning, but I think it'll be a close, ugly game. Alshon Jeffrey, let's throw something with him. But I can't remember right now because I'm a terrible host.
So yeah, he's questioned his knee. It's hurting, but he's questionable. I read he's gonna play.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
that's what it is. They confirmed he's going to play.
It's not Cutler playing though. He has 9 catches for 200 yards with Cutler. Now, it's the same thing like when Vic came in last year with Antonio Brown. Like Antonio Brown probably could have had 200 yards that game, but Vic didn't find him. They didn't have that connection that like starting quarterback and starting wide receiver have. So it's going to be. I would almost want to sit him, but at the same time, he's the number one though. It's you almost have to start him, but at the same time, there's that threat there that he's not going to be. He's going to be taken out of the game just by the quarterback,
by lack of chemistry,
the defense matchup.
Yep.
So I mean, it's like I said, you got to start him because he's the number one. It's Alshon Jeffrey. He still doesn't have a touchdown, but he's got the yards. So it's a big risk. But I think he'll get catches, but how many and how many yards will you turn those in? It's going to be quick slants or it's going to be, quick comebacks. It's not going to be the deep fly routes, deep quarters,
Right. Last game we have is the Monday night game. John, I'm not sure if you want to do it or.
Yeah, I can look at it. Let's see. Not really noticing any injuries on the Falcons notable. A couple outs, just backup linebackers. Saints, we got Willie Snead questionable. That's a big one. He's the number one. I read he's not going to play, but it's still game time decision. If he does, it will be very limited action. He blew up week 1 against Oakland. And I'm glad I drafted him early because 172 yards and a touchdown week 1 was really good. And he had a touchdown last week, but now he's hurt. And, luckily, of course, it's 2 dome teams, so, no weather to play factor. But the Saints and Falcons, they're both trending downwards. The Falcons, they've always, they were 13-3 and, 12-4, perennial 10-win team. And now they're just downwards. And Saints the same way. Drew Brees, 5,000 yards every year. Now they're just 0-2. They have the high-powered offense, but they don't have a defense anymore. So, Willie Snead has 200 yards. Brandon Cooks has 200 yards. 4 touchdowns between them, but they're 0-2. So, their defense is just really letting them down. Matt Ryan, he's a quarterback that's always good, but never good enough. And Devontae Freeman, 113 yards, 28 carries, no touchdowns yet. His backup, those got 20 carries for a touchdown. This game could be good, but at the same time, it could very well be a shootout to where it's going to be 38-35 or, some high-scoring game. Or it just could be both defenses are terrible enough to stop the offenses and just it's going to be a 17-14 game.
You know,
It's a Monday
that's
night game. They probably had higher expectations for it, just like the Sunday night game with Cowboys Bears. They probably had way high expectations, and then both these teams come in reeling, kind of. The receiver this game has great receivers though. Julio Jones always good, but it's just gonna be who scores the most, pretty much. Like, I mean, obviously that's who's gonna win, but
thanks, John.
yeah, the defense, it's what defense can step up and actually stop, or force a field goal. It's it's a good game, but a bad game at the same time again.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, everything's lined up for it to be a barn burner, but that's how it was last week with the Giants and the Saints. So we'll see what happens. The Saints had a lot of bend don't break last week.
Yeah.
All right. From that, we can go into our lock of the week and our upset of the week. Now, we were talking about it earlier, John. The lock this week is not easy to pick.
There's a lot of games that are like either 50-50 or it's like, this team could be good, but at the same time, this team could step up. It's just there's some, I don't know. Every game is just possibly a blowout, possibly a 3-point game. My lock, though, I have the Raiders beat the Titans 31-17. I'm riding the Raiders train. I know their defense is really bad. The Titans, their offense is good, but I don't know. I just don't see the potential in them. Still all aboard the David Carr, Amari Cooper train. I don't know why. I'm not a Raiders fan at all, but I think they beat them 31-17.
It's that AC/DC connection. That's why you're.
Yes,
That's why you're
I
on the
think
train.
I think Thunderstruck keeps playing in my head. So
It's third down all the time. My lock of the week, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see if I stay in my survivor pools or not. I'm taking Tampa Bay over LA, mostly because Case Keenum does not scare me, and I think even without Doug Martin, I think the Buccaneers are much more capable than Seattle was last week for putting up points. If nothing else, just by Winston throwing a deep ball and Mike Evans going up and get it, something he's proved that he can do time in and time out. So that's my lock of the week. I'm taking Tampa Bay over the Rams.
what about your upset? Who you got? Who you think is gonna take the 50-50 draw of who's gonna win?
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm going through like which of these games would actually be an upset at this point in the
There's really
season.
not.
My-
It's too early. It's not like there's standout teams and
Yeah.
like teams that are
Yeah,
like any shit.
I'm going to take the one that is the only one I could see being an upset. I'm going to take the Bills over the Cardinals. That's the only one I can see as an upset, so I have to pick it.
I have the Vikings over the Panthers. I consider that an upset because they're down Adrian Peterson, they're down Bridgewater, and the Panthers, they're still, I mean, they're not very good this year, but at the same time, they were in the Super Bowl last year. They were the keep pounding 15-1 team. And I think Sam Bradford, I think he has himself not a game, but Stephon Diggs, it was really last week, but at the same time, I think he keeps that momentum, puts up another 100-yard receiving game, probably gets in the end zone maybe twice again. And I think they take it 28-16 over in Carolina.
All right, I can totally see it. That was another one I was looking at. If Carolina wasn't home, I wouldn't call it an upset, but Carolina is. So no, that I looked at that one too. I'm definitely on board with you there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, John, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it. I know you picked up a little bit more slack than you were expecting. We had Macho Packness was ready to break down a couple games for us, but
He made a brief appearance, and
yeah, we got a brief appearance from Macho Packness, and he was a little rowdy. But,
got a couple of yeahs, and
I feel like it was a great show, John. Thanks for being on. We'll have, I think, regular Jay Gibbs will be back on, not his alter ego, next week. We'll see. I'm not sure who the special guest will be, but I'll keep everyone posted.
well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
All right, well, let's go watch some football.